Hi everyone. I'm here to talk about Iran Unchained, a project we started a while ago, like maybe a few months ago, and it's fun so far. So a bit about who I am. Like I'm more a technical guy. I worked at the Bitcoin ATMs, the wallets, the softwares back in the day, and then joined Consensus Diligence, doing smart contract audits. That's one of the first time I worked with Amin Soleimani on Moloch DAO V2 audit, or the LAO back in the day. And then I joined another company as CTO of a publicly traded company. It was fun. On the side, I'm doing my PhD, but I'm not here for talk about any of these. Mainly, I'm here to talk about all the nonprofit educator things that I've been doing, and I haven't been really talking about that. Just a bit background, I was born and raised in Iran for the first half of my life, and that's on the other side of the sanctioned wall. And I was growing up being a geek, and I was not understanding why the world hates me. And so I tried around. I had to learn a lot more of the English to be able to understand what's happening, and realize that especially crypto is a really life-saving technology in Iran, and for people in the other side of the sanctioned walls. And I realized the language barrier is really huge. We have hard time on communicating with English speakers what we are doing here. Just consider how the language barrier would affect that. So I started this nonprofit movement. One was a podcast called Shirya started in 2015, more technical, blockchain, just these. Tried not to have that much of a price talk there. There's another website called Coin Iran with a few of online friends we started. It's a Farsi blockchain news content website, more like CoinDesk, not Cointelegraph, CoinDesk, more on that. And one of the things I'm proud of is been mentoring Women Blockchain Farsi and multiple ETH hackathons, and mainly with help of the Women Blockchain Farsi, we were able to do 2 Solidity bootcamps, 0 to 1, what is a hash, what is cryptography, 2, how to do DeFi, flash loans, all in Farsi. And I just want to say the timer is not going there, so I don't know how much I'm talking. But meanwhile, in the last few years, I did a few grants on Gitcoin, Giveth, CLR funds, around $35,000 raised. We applied for Ethereum Foundation grants, Uniswap grants, UNICEF. We haven't heard back from them that much, but just want to say I have experience playing around with grant platforms. So there is some backstory to this. There's this talk at ETH Denver, which I talked about all the experience we had in the last few years on trying to do things in Farsi community and getting kicked out for sanctions, mostly for just cautionary reasons. Just one thing, so a lot of the slides have this QR code, just because there's a lot of sidetracks and other topics. Feel free to take pictures of them. That talk was about the story from the last 5 years till March. And yeah. And there was this other talk that followed by Amin Soleimani about Iran Unchained, and that was one of the first times we announced this project, that we want to do this NGO. Also another QR for that talk. And just to say overall what was discussed there. So there is this, my talk talks about the TLDR of this timeline as 2021 was a really great year. Women Blockchain and Coin Iran sponsored a lot of students to go to Consensus Academy Bootcamp. The community was growing really fast. And on the second round, it was in September 2021, around 65 students were there. And that's around the time that Virgil Griffith was pleaded guilty, not arrested, pleaded guilty. And it trickled down in the whole ecosystem as getting rid of every sanction risk that there is. So Consensus suddenly banned Iranian students from the academy 2.5 months in of the 3-month course. Gitcoin suspended Women Blockchain Farsi grant, and this was a shock to all of us. I really want to give a shout out to Giveth that gave a home to Women Blockchain Farsi, and they kept the values of Web3. And that was the year ended. We celebrated the new year, and we're all right, let's thank everyone that helped us get here, give a POAP to everyone. And then POAP rejected me because of sanctions. And I was I'm in Canada, what are you talking about? That's where we were all right, let's take things on our hands, the show will go on, and let's do this. And around February, Women in Blockchain Farsi released all their content and courses online for free on YouTube. It fascinates me to see it's in Farsi, it's Solidity, and has more than 40,000 views. The QR shows a lot of other timeline with links to other news agencies that have talked about this. It's educational, reading those events. So that's where we started Iran Unchained. It's a DAO. It's a Moloch DAO V3, around 15 members. It's backed by it connects to a US-based NGO. And one thing we realized is, especially because Iran protests are happening now, sanctions are a bit lifted from the population and Iranian people, especially around internet freedom. I'm going to talk about it in a bit. But banks still do the over-compliance. They don't let you send money. So we were let's crypto first. Let's figure this out. And you have to play this twice. Yeah, so we deployed the DAO, and in April, the DAO members ratified the charter, the NGO charter, so the NGO and DAO got connected. It was a fun experience to do the signaling on DAO. And basically, we started with 5 initial grants. We said, let's do a bunch of grants, figure out if this works. This is almost still proof of concept. We think we can work this out, but let's see. So we started with a few grants: Internet Freedom for Iran, supporting Iranian NFT artists, and a few others that I'll talk about in a bit. So Internet Freedom for Iran is an interesting topic here because a lot of the Web3 companies that blocked Iranians fall into this category. And it's actually providing support to Iranians for internet freedom was recently explicitly encouraged by the US Treasury. And that was the umbrella grant that we created. And we started looking around. We found one company, one group of people. Funny enough, it's named Internet Freedom for Iran, Internet for I. And their goal has been to prevent regimes, proxy companies outside Iran that has been helping the government to shut down the internet for people, but not the banks and the government. And they are one of our grantees for Internet Freedom for Iran, and they were working, and they got scaled their project. They started distributing a lot of VPN connections to the Iran and other Raspberry Pis to use as a proxy. And one thing that came out last week out of this whole initiative, which I'm really happy about, and it's one of the first time I'm happy about someone getting sanctioned, is there's this company called AppR1, which has been helping on the tech side to basically block internet in Iran, censor internet, but give access to the government. And with the help of Internet for I and a lot of other people, apparently around 200 people were reporting these companies, and they got sanctioned, which is a big deal because then they can't buy the servers outside and help Iran government to sanction people to shut down internet while banks work and government infrastructure still works. The second grantee we had is this newsletter called Zan Zandagi Azadi, which means Women Life Freedom. One thing I really like about them, they have a really 90s looking website. I like that they're basically documenting verified news as it happens. And it's really rare in the age of misinformation, and it's really valuable to have this. And this was an interesting grantee because they're a fully anonymous team, really high at stake, because if anything leaks from their identity, they risk execution, and it is Iran government we're talking about. And basically, we gave them grant. They're continuing to work on this, and the messages we got were, we actually signaled them, you guys are doing a great job, continue doing your work. Another fun grant that we did, which is supporting Iranian NFT artists. And just for everyone to know, art has been exempt from sanctions almost forever. And this is also one of the reasons we want to do this is to signal all these NFT marketplaces that ban Iranian artists, OpenSea, and you don't have to do this. This is bad. You don't need to do this. And a shout out to Foundation and other platforms that keep Web3 values and don't just block people just because of their IP address. Just looking at some of the arts, these are some of the arts that we bought. These are all from Iranian NFT artists. And basically, we put this announcement online, called for applications. we got around 400 NFT artists applied, and we end up buying around, like with the first round, around 69 NFTs. We didn't plan to have 69, it just happened. It was a signal that we're in the right track. And so, yeah, one thing we did, just because of the logistics, we started buying them gradually over a few days. When we went back to the NFT artist profile to like send these tweets, I really suggest reading that tweet thread, because like we noticed how impactful this was. Like we changed someone's life in one day at a time, and like people would wake up to their first NFT sale, and they were so happy, and they didn't even know that they're talking about this anonymous collector that bought their collection. They didn't even know they were selected for the thing they applied. And this was really heartwarming to just see. And there are a few of these. These are two of the NFT artists I love, which I really like mixed art media, and these are like a really interesting one. The one to the left, the mixture of Super Mario nostalgia with like Iranian poetry, and they also have music. I couldn't make it work. And also this other one, which most of the people said, "Oh, it looks like Japan," and it made me wonder if Iran's Islamic revolution did not happen 40 years ago, how would Tehran or even Japan would look like? It could easily be like this. So a bit of a geek time now. I just want to say how Iran Unchained works under the hood. So basically, it's anyone can start. Similar DAO part, the legal side is the side. You can go to DAO House website, summon a ball. You get this whole package, which is like Iran Unchained. There's a Moloch DAO. You get SAH, which is a voting share. It's soul-bound. You can really move it around. And the treasury, which manages by the DAO. This is how it starts. This looks a bit busy, but this is the whole thing. This is like Iran Unchained, the whole thing. So like anyone can come to the website, create a grant. We suggest to create a forum discussion, get the signal before creating the grant, because you have to pay gas. And then creates a grant, which is a Gnosis safe owned by the DAO. And the idea is anyone can start a grant, they can start raise funding, and when there's enough money, DAO members can get involved by basically doing the due diligence, legal consultation to make sure they fall under General License E or D2, and basically send the signal to withdraw, vote on it, and basically send the money to grantee. And we have to do OFAC quarterly reports, which we're kind of busy with doing this month as well. So this is a whole system. It's pretty simple for what it does. You don't have to like mix it up with a lot of different contracts in that sense. Okay, so there are a lot of opportunities we found out here. We found out that like a mixture of Moloch DAO with Gnosis Safe, you can do so much that you can't even imagine. There are like safe modules. You can have a grantees funding that has limited spenders, so someone else can go buy NFTs or do something else, or payment streams, like pay someone over a month. We can delegate. Something we've been talking about with Amin is DAO social recovery. So a DAO can be responsible for recovering your funds after your death or after you're arrested or some other methods. These are like opportunities that we can just play around and find out. But also another thing that I really want to know more on the sociological side is like how do you measure nonprofit DAO impact? We noticed we made a lot of smiles. Can we add that to our OKR? Like probably, or I don't know how to measure that. Or even jobs created, because with teaching about Solidity, there is a lot of people having like jobs that they couldn't do before. So that's one of the things I'm interested. If anyone wants to talk about it, I'm happy to take it offline after. There were like a lot of technical challenges. Legal challenges aside, I'm not even touching those right now. Moloch DAO UI, we realized it's a bit buggy on the edges. Thanks to the DAO House team for fixing these. L2s and other EVMs, right now we're on Ethereum mainnet. We can't really move around because Gnosis Safe address is on Ethereum mainnet, and we can have the same address on the other L2s. And one of the things we noticed is like DApp logins, they usually want to sign a message. We're a DAO treasury managed by we're a Gnosis Safe managed by a DAO. So we can't have a profile, just write what our profile name is, which is like maybe an EIP for that can solve it. Oh yeah, and more NFTs that we bought. I really like these. Also, that one has music. I can play it here. We have some upcoming grants. We're going another round of NFTs because this was fun. We saw we directly changing people's lives. Internet freedom for Iran, round 3. One thing we're focused on is ETH conference scholarship to expose Iranian developers to the Ethereum community and the other way around. I'm more interested the other way around because I know a lot of like really smart Iranian devs. And we want to focus on DevConnect Istanbul because that's close logistics work. And another one is summer bootcamp that we're focusing on. And so in that case, I just want to say like Iran Unchained, we did a US NGO to make sure US persons can donate to Iran legally. If Europeans want to donate, they can, but it still goes to our $500,000 a year limit. We've been talking to Gitcoin about some Gitcoin like Moloch vision, Gitcoin MV, that like it uses similar structure to be a better grant platform. And yeah, for DevCon and ETH Global, this is kind of call to action. If anyone's doing hacker houses there, any events there, get in touch with me so we can maybe distribute the Iranian devs around different hacker houses for higher impact. And I think I missed one, no? Yeah. Oh yeah, so that's mainly it. Like, please check out the website, donate or share the link, and we can all say women, life, freedom together. If women, life, freedom. All right, thank you.
Any questions?
All right, thank you.